mission of the mighty gorilla. In the dim light of early morning, a gorilla quietly entered the office of Heist, the supreme leader of the mighty gorilla. The gorilla carried a serious expression, signaling that there was something important to report. The door to the room closed as soon as he entered, ensuring that no one outside could hear the conversation. The room was adorned with symbols of power and authority, a testament to Heist's reign. Heist, a formidable figure himself, sat behind a massive wooden desk, his eyes sharp and discerning. After hearing the report, Heist said, "Continue to spy on him. If there is anything urgent, report to me immediately. Don't reveal anything, understand?" The gorilla nodded vigorously, his voice showing absolute loyalty. "Yes, boss." After receiving the command, the gorilla quickly left the room, his steps agile but quiet like a shadow. It knew that its mission was very important, and could not afford to make any mistakes. Rondu's restless night. Rondu's condition was no better. One night, in the quiet forest, when the moonlight was obscured by the dense canopy of trees, Rondu, with his new personality, was walking alone, and didn't know where he was going, or what to do next. The cold air enveloped him, seemingly signaling something bad. His steps were heavy, his mind a whirlwind of confusion and darkness. Suddenly, two dark shadows appeared from the night, approaching Rondu at breakneck speed. One wielded a sword, the other a saber, both exuding a cold aura and heavy murderous intent. Both shadows, without saying a word, immediately attacked Rondu. The person holding the sword slashed horizontally, while the person holding the saber swung down from above. Rondu stepped back immediately, avoiding the two dangerous attacks. His eyes flashed a light, like a cornered animal. The fierce encounter. Rondu quickly took a defensive stance. He stepped back and skillfully dodged the attacks, his body moving as flexibly as a leopard. When the enemy's sword swung forward, Rondu quickly turned around to avoid the attack and used his arm to block the downward path of the saber, deflecting the opponent's strike. As soon as he had the chance, Rondu immediately counterattacked. With a powerful punch, he unleashed the Fire Dragon Fist. Rondu's fist created a blast of hot air, knocking back his opponents and causing the surrounding air to burn. The sword bearer was forced to step back to avoid Rondu's attack, while the saber bearer tried to approach from a different angle. Rondu quickly turned around and threw a horizontal kick at his opponent, causing him to stagger and lose balance. Even though he had lost his memory and didn't know who he was, his martial arts skills were still instinctive, undiminished. Rondu's fighting abilities seemed to be ingrained in his flesh and blood, becoming an inseparable part of him. The retreat of the assassins. After being pushed back, the two shadows stood from afar, observing Rondu, filled with surprise. One of the two shadows whispered to his teammate, "He is very strong. We cannot stop him, except for Eagle. Let's go." These two men were siblings belonging to the group of 10 great assassins. The sword wielder's name was Wit, and the saber wielder's name was Wat. These two quickly rushed back to the secret headquarters of the 10 great assassins and reported to Eagle. "He's very strong, boss. With just a few punches and kicks, he pushed us back." Eagle, their leader, was a man of few words but immense power. He closed his eyes and nodded. "I know. I sent you to test his martial arts skills. You've done well. You two may go now." Eagle still had his eyes closed when talking to his two juniors. The lingering battle. The recent battle with two shadows, one using a sword and one using a saber, was still clear in his mind. Even though he repelled them, Rondu's heart was still filled with unanswered questions. The image of the two assassins attacking with lethal precision replayed in his mind like a relentless loop. Their cold eyes, their swift movements, and the clash of steel against his skin were etched into his memory. Why do I know martial arts? Rondu wondered, his eyes staring at his hands. He remembered every blow, every natural reflex move he had made in battle, as if they had been engraved into his instincts long ago. The fluidity of his movements, the precision of his strikes, it all felt second nature to him. Yet his mind couldn't provide the reasoning behind these skills. Why did I react so quickly? Rondu recalled how he avoided deadly attacks. It seemed that his body automatically performed evasive and counter-attacking movements without thinking. This made Rondu more confused. He couldn't understand why he had these skills while his memories of his previous life were still a vast void. Each night, as his new personality emerged, these questions became more haunting. The times he woke up with his body drenched in sweat, his heart pounding in his chest, Rondu felt like he was living a strange life, a life that he didn't even understand. The dissonance between his daytime self and the aggressive, skillful fighter he became at night was disorienting. The nightly transformation Flora, who had always been by his side to take care of him, could not help him answer these questions. Although she tried to bring him comfort and peace, Rondu knew that the answers lay somewhere deep within his lost memories. And until he could discover them, he would forever be haunted by the mysteries of himself. At night, when the shadows stretched long and the moon hid behind clouds, Rondu's other personality took control. This version of him was fearless, ruthless, and efficient in combat. The transformation was seamless. One moment he was the gentle, confused Rondu, and the next, a warrior with deadly precision. The Gathering. 2 months later, in a dark room, dim lights reflected off the old walls. Heavy footsteps sounded, creating a tense and mysterious atmosphere. Eagle, the leader of the 10 Great Assassins, entered the room with a majestic and confident look. All members of the group gathered here, their eyes full of curiosity and anticipation. Eagle stood in the middle of the room, his strong and decisive voice ringing out. Today, I will introduce a man who will be a leader and lead you to success. His martial arts are superb and unparalleled. He possesses a powerful internal power. All eyes turned to the door where the silhouette of a tall man appeared. This person wore black clothes and a black mask covering his face, creating a powerful and mysterious image. I nicknamed him Silverback, Eagle continued. The nickname Silverback means a strong and ruthless assassin who always strives to be on top and never accepts defeat. With an aggressive personality, Silverback always finds a way to overcome all challenges and opponents in a cool and decisive manner, not letting emotions affect his judgment. The introduction, Silverback stepped forward, his eyes behind the mask sparkling with a cold gaze, making everyone feel his strong presence. Eagle turned to the members and began introducing each one. This is Lionheart. His real name is Miras. He uses 2 short sabers and kills people in an instant. In addition, he is also a famous poet. Lionheart means lion's heart, showing strength and courage. Previously, I let him lead the group, but from today, you will be the new leader of the group, and he will be the deputy leader. Lionheart nodded to Silverback, his eyes steady and expressionless, but inside he seemed a little confused and uneasy. This is Panthera. His real name is Luis. He uses a sword. His sword is like a storm. He has a great ability to play musical instruments. Panthera is the name of the big leopards, showing agile and strong. Panthera is an agile and extremely dangerous assassin, always appearing and disappearing without anyone knowing. Panthera looked at Silverback with searching eyes, realizing the threat from this person's new position. This is Cobra. His real name is Wit. He also uses a sword. Cobra is famous for its deadly venom. Cobra specializes in using poisons and always attacks suddenly, as fast as a snake's peck. Cobra just smirked coldly, his eyes never leaving Silverback. This is Wolfbane. His real name is Wat, and he is Wit's younger brother. He uses a saber. Wolfbane means Wolf Destroyer, referring to strength and ruthlessness. Wolfbane has extraordinary strength and fighting skills, like a wolf on the hunt. Wolfbane nodded slightly, at the same time holding his saber tightly, as if ready to accept any challenge from the new leader. This is Hawkeye. His real name is Larry. He uses a chain with the head of the chain being a 20-kilogram iron block. Hawkeye represents the ability to observe and attack. Hawkeye has the ability to attack accurately from a distance. Hawkeye looked at Silverback with a calm but cautious expression, knowing the strength of his opponent. This is Tiger Claw. His real name is Maki. He also uses chains like Hawkeye. These two have the same master. These two always go together. The gang people call them Dual Iron Serpent. Tiger Claw represents strength and brutality. Tiger Claw is a powerful assassin with unmatched hand-to-hand combat skills. Tiger Claw nodded to Silverback, his eyes unable to hide admiration mixed with a bit of shyness. This is Scorpio. His real name is Juno. He uses a stick. Scorpio is famous for its deadly poison attacks. Scorpio is very dangerous, always attacking unexpectedly. Scorpio looked at Silverback with sharp eyes, prepared to deal with any danger. This is Bear Claw. His real name is Zeus. He uses a spear. Bearclaw represents strength and endurance. Bearclaw can withstand many attacks and counterattack with great terrible strength. Bearclaw stood firm like a mountain, his eyes showing loyalty and willingness to fight for the group. This is Falcon. His real name is Wooty. He uses a crossbow. He is a notorious thief. Falcon is famous for its speed and accuracy when hunting. Falcon is an agile and precise assassin, always attacking your opponent's weak point. Falcon smiled softly, his eyes sharp like a hunting eagle. This is Jackal. His real name is Royu. He uses iron cards as weapons. He is also a famous gambler. Jackal is famous for its cunning and ability to survive. Jackal always has a plan to deal with every situation. Jackal smirked, his eyes cunning and full of intrigue. Silverback quietly looked at each of them one by one, noticing the strength and skills of each member of the group. He knew in his heart that the task of leading this group of 10 great assassins would not be easy. But with his unmatched determination and ability, Silverback believed he would lead the team to great victories. The tense atmosphere. In the dim room, the atmosphere became tense as Hawkeye stepped forward, his cold eyes looking straight at Silverback. His eyes were full of skepticism and challenge. Hawkeye did not hide his displeasure with Eagle's decision. As the leader of the 10 great assassins, his martial arts must be superior to ours. If the boss allows, I would like to try his martial arts, Hawkeye spoke, his strong voice ringing in the silent room. Eagle, with calm but majestic eyes, looked at Hawkeye for a moment before nodding in agreement. Okay, Hawkeye, I allow you to try your martial arts with Silverback. This is also an opportunity for everyone to see the capabilities of new leadership. Silverback didn't say a word, just stood there in a ready position. The eyes behind the black mask were still calm and cold. Hawkeye clutched the chain. The end of the rope had a 20-kilogram iron lump. The metal glinted in the dim light of the room. The duel begins. The game began. Hawkeye was lightning fast, swinging his chain toward Silverback with incredible strength and speed. The sound of chains hitting the air created a sharp, menacing sound. Silverback took a step back, easily dodging the first attack. Without delay, Hawkeye continued to attack, the chain like a giant snake, twisting the air, heading straight at Silverback. Silverback moved gently, each of his steps exuding skill and precision. He not only dodged, but also skillfully counterattacked. With a twist, Silverback grabbed the chain and pulled hard, causing Hawkeye to lose his balance. Despite the loss of balance, Hawkeye refused to lose, quickly regained his balance, and continued to attack. But Silverback was prepared. He unleashed a powerful punch, punching straight into the air, creating a powerful wind that pushed Hawkeye back. The force of the attack left Hawkeye unable to continue, forcing him to retreat. Tiger Claw joins the fight. Just as Hawkeye backed away from Silverback's powerful punch, Tiger Claw stepped forward, his eyes flashing with determination. Seeing his teammate being pushed back, Tiger Claw couldn't sit still. He clutched the chain in his hand, walking next to Hawkeye. "Let's combine to attack him," Tiger Claw said, his voice cold but determined. Hawkeye nodded in agreement, ready to combine with his teammate to attack Silverback. Eagle, standing watch, just raised his eyebrows but did not intervene. He knew that Silverback needed to prove his strength to the group. This was not only a challenge, but also a way to affirm his leadership position. The combined assault, Tiger Claw and Hawkeye attacked simultaneously. The two chains swung up, creating sharp curves in the air. The two coordinated smoothly, attacking from both sides, making Silverback unable to retreat. Silverback stood firmly, cold eyes watching every move of the two opponents. As Hawkeye's chain rushed towards him, Silverback dodged aside, caught the chain with his hand, and pulled hard. At the same time, Tiger Claw attacked from the other side, but Silverback quickly released Hawkeye's chain, turned around, and delivered a powerful kick, kicking Tiger Claw's chain away. Undeterred, Tiger Claw and Hawkeye continued to attack, but Silverback switched from defense to attack. He moved lightning fast, using powerful and precise attacks. A powerful punch was aimed straight at Tiger Claw, causing him to step back, losing his balance. At the same time, Silverback used a spinning kick, knocking Hawkeye back. The two famous assassins of the 10 great assassins were constantly repelled by Silverback's strength and skills. Each of his attacks was strong and decisive, leaving no opportunity for the opponent to counterattack. Bearclaw enters the fray. Just as Silverback pushed back Tigerclaw and Hawkeye, a rumbling sound rang out from behind. Bearclaw, spear in hand, entered the arena, looking straight at Silverback. "Do you really think you can lead the 10 great assassins?" Bearclaw roared, eyes flashing with defiance. Silverback was briefly surprised to see Bearclaw also participating in the attack. He did not expect that all 3 assassins would unite against him. Tigerclaw and Hawkeye looked at each other, then nodded to Bearclaw. All 3 assassins brandished their weapons, forming a circle to surround Silverback. Tigerclaw and Hawkeye's chains swung like steel snakes, while Bearclaw's spear ripped through the wind and rushed towards Silverback. The fierce battle. Silverback had to concentrate intensely, his eyes quickly scanning around the arena, observing every move of his opponent. When Tigerclaw and Hawkeye's chains came at him, he quickly dodged, jumped into the air, and turned around to avoid Bearclaw's spear. But the attack did not stop. All 3 assassins continued to rush forward like a storm, not letting Silverback have a moment of rest. Tigerclaw attacked from the left, Hawkeye from behind, and Bearclaw from the front. Silverback knew he had to fight with all his might. He used all his martial arts skills and powerful internal power to cope. When Tigerclaw's chain swung up, Silverback used his hand to catch it and pull hard, causing Tigerclaw to lose balance. At the same time, he turned around to avoid Hawkeye's attack and used his foot to kick away Bearclaw's spear. The battle took place extremely fiercely. All 3 assassins coordinated smoothly and attacked continuously. Silverback not only defended but also attacked effectively, using powerful and precise strikes. Each of his punches and kicks carried incredible power, forcing the opponent to retreat. When Hawkeye's chain rushed forward, Silverback dodged to the side, at the same time used his hand to grab the chain, pulling hard, causing Hawkeye to let go. Immediately afterwards, Silverback threw a powerful punch straight at Tigerclaw, causing him to step back and lose his balance. At the same time, Silverback used a spinning kick, pushing Bearclaw back, proving his worth. The battle was not only a confrontation of martial arts, but also a battle of will. Silverback not only had to deal with the power of 3 assassins, but also had to prove his bravery and determination. Each of his attacks carried the will to not yield, not to retreat. Gradually, Tigerclaw, Hawkeye, and Bearclaw began to feel exhausted. Silverback's strength and speed were too overwhelming. They knew that they couldn't beat him. "That's enough. Are you guys satisfied?" Eagle spoke up, his voice echoing throughout the space. All the assassins were silent, only a small voice rang out from behind. "Even though he has strong martial arts, he has no merit yet. Why did the boss nominate him as our leader?" Eagle looked straight at the assassin who had just spoken, his eyes flashing with anger. "Silverback has proven his abilities. Are you not convinced?" Eagle's voice was powerful, each word like sharp blades. The final test. The atmosphere was tense. All eyes were on Eagle and the assassin. Suddenly, Eagle let out a resounding scream, creating a powerful shockwave. That wave spread throughout the space, pushing everyone away. Silverback was also pushed back a few steps by the shockwave, his eyes filled with surprise at Eagle's terrifying internal power. The assassins fell to the ground, their eyes filled with terror. They realized that Eagle was not only a boss, but also possessed outstanding strength that no one could measure. Eagle stepped forward, his sharp eyes looking around. Silverback has proven himself. From now on, the 10 great assassins will be led by Silverback. We will move forward together to new successes. Eagle's words rang out like a declaration, affirming Silverback's position. Everyone was silent. No one dared to object anymore. They understood that under Silverback's leadership and Eagle's support, the 10 great assassins would become stronger than ever.